In this Coming Out series, I'm also going to preview for you where I see opportunities for reclaiming community and synthesizing philosophy that can empower all of us. I believe that as human beings, we do thrive on structure. I also believe that we can do a far better job than the traditional religions that we have among us today. If religions are all man-made, then why not just admit that? And why not, this time, just do a better job? All right, I'm being slightly facetious here, but I do believe that together we can collaborate across the globe to create a beautiful blueprint for how to successfully live happy and fulfilling lives, all without having to buy into the unsubstantiated, supernatural claims of the religions we have effectively rejected and remixed. I see an opportunity for Optin Communities centered around some best practices for living that provide a positive identity around which to reclaim community and the legacy of human wisdom, which is, after all, our collective and rightful endowment as human beings. Now, since we won't all agree on the details, we'll create many such communities, working in harmony as part of a federation of philosophy communities. I am, however, getting ahead of myself. If you are keen to know more about my ideas on community and philosophy beyond the traditional religions that many of us are now leaving behind, well, you'll want to read my essay, Lessons Learned on Community and Dissent. There, among other topics, I provide a more detailed preview on how we'll build this together. More of that topic will be coming in the future. Since I've now come out publicly as both ex-Muslim and ex-Ahmadi, I know that a lot of my time and activism will be spent in the critique of Islam and deep in the weeds theological discussions. I'm ready for it. Many find it difficult to move forward until they've thoroughly dismantled the chains that have bound them for so long. Now, while I'm certainly over it, it would be selfish of me not to use the knowledge that I've gained to continue to help others who are struggling with Islam and its after effects. It would be selfish of me not to spend some time continuing to challenge the truth claims of Islam and of its apologists. But after I get comfortable with more public speaking, and after I've talked with people who've gone through similar journeys, I do plan to have conversations with believing Muslims, including devout Ahmadi Muslims. At some point in the future, however, I do know that my focus will shift from what I've left behind to what's next. As just mentioned, I plan to pen a treatise on how we can reclaim community and philosophy by creating new positive identities associated with prescriptive best practices for living. New frameworks for living set atop a clean canvas which make a clean break from the religions of the past. They'll touch upon multiple aspects of our lives. Around these, new communities will form. This, of course, isn't an endeavor that'll appeal to everyone. I get that. But I do believe that it'll resonate with the people who appreciate structure and building on the knowledge of the many wise teachers who've come before us. Think of it as a fusion encompassing Stoicism, contemplative practices, physical fitness, wholesome nutrition, community, and stories with powerful archetypes that we identify as just stories, but which nonetheless illustrate lessons and themes for life. We don't need to keep the Bible or any other holy book alive just because it contains some useful, albeit dubious, stories. That would be both irresponsible of us as well as an assault on objective truth. Instead, we'll create new stories. We'll clearly mark them as fiction, knowing that doing so does not diminish from the many lessons they'll be designed to impart. We may even roll in true stories that we can verify from history, as well as wisdom from religious philosophers of the past whose wisdom is universal and which holds just as well transplanted out of the soil of legacy religion. The philosophy communities that we'll create will pursue virtue, human welfare, human rights, personal responsibility, charity, knowledge, and in short, eudaimonia, as Aristotle put it. My treatise on the subject should be coming in the not-too-distant future. It will lay the groundwork and present the foundational ideas. That treatise will be a call for volunteers to assemble so that we can build this framework into which a diversity of philosophy communities can flourish. The philosophy communities will be built to recognize one another in a cooperative way. Now, I recognize that this vision may not come to fruition in my lifetime, but I have no doubt that this is where many of us and where future generations are headed. This is the path forward. Or should I say, it's one path forward for those who would like to have that option. Can we have our cake and eat it too? I believe the answer to that question is yes.